Hey everyone, today we're talking about a cool DC character and one of the most powerful out there, the Spectre. We'll go over his very first appearance in comics at one of the earliest periods in DC history. Before we get into that, be sure to subscribe to Comic Island for more history on comic book characters, new and old, as well as a whole bunch of other cool content. Early one evening, a detective named Jim Corrigan is with a fellow officer and close friend. They talk about how Jim is excited to be engaged to a wealthy young woman named Clarice Winston. Jim thinks he is the luckiest man on earth, while his colleague teases Corrigan over the thought of how much his friend is bound to change over the next year because of this. In response to this teasing, Jim dunks his colleague's head in a sink, though the encounter remains largely good-natured. An informant arrives, warning Jim about a planned theft of furs at the Westmore warehouse. Though Jim is supposed to meet with Clarice, he cannot pass up this opportunity. Refusing to pay his informant, instead just insisting the man deliver information whenever he finds it to avoid a beating, Jim rushes off to the warehouse, where he witnesses the robbery begin. Corrigan recognizes the thieves work for a powerful man named Benson. He attacks them and successfully stops the criminal operation. Later, Jim is driving with Clarice, who is still annoyed at him for standing her up. However, he is very dismissive of her concerns, instead berating her, saying he doesn't know why she fell for the man to begin with, but if she wants to love him, he's going to be the one in charge of this relationship. In spite of Jim Corrigan's rude demeanor and domineering attitude, Clarice agrees to this and loves him just the same. Suddenly, Benson himself appears before the couple. Outraged that Jim Corrigan has foiled yet another of the man's many criminal plots, he captures them both at gunpoint. They take Jim and Clarice to a small warehouse next to a river, and force Corrigan into a barrel, into which they pour cement. They throw the barrel into the water, and it settles to the bottom. Jim wakes up to see a beam of light before him. As he moves up into the air towards it, he hears a voice telling the man that his mission remains unfinished on Earth. Corrigan is informed he will return to Earth with supernatural powers until crime is no more. Jim protests, wanting eternal peace instead, but he is unable to stop this task laid before him and finds himself hurtling back down towards Earth, falling through darkness until he finally finds himself back at the bottom of the river, completely unharmed. He's even able to walk around the ocean and then fly up above the water until he is floating in the air. Dismayed at his new abilities, Jim discovers he can also turn invisible at will. Before he can explore any of this further, he hears Clarice call out in fear and rushes off to save her.